Hey everyone, this is the Geek Protagonist, and today I wanted to do a review because I watched this last night. Um, this is the 40th DC animated original movie. I actually had one on Superman, Man of Tomorrow. It was all jacked up, so I have to redo it. But this film was directed by Sam Liu and executive produced by Bruce Timm, featuring an original story based on not any comic books, right? So here's what's really interesting. So it stars David Gluenton Giantoli. He's a dude from Grimm. David Guintoli. I think it's Guintoli. He was Bruce Wayne, Batman. Mark Dacascos as Richard Dragon, Kelly Hu as Lady Shiva, Michael Jahia White as Ben Turner, aka Bronze Tiger, James Hong as O Sensei. That is the Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China, for anyone who does not recognize that name. And Jamie Chung as Jay Nguyen, and Josh Keaton as Jeffrey Burr. So Jeffrey Burr is Cobra. He's the guy that runs the Serpent Cult or Serpent Society. I think they're called the Serpent Cult in DC. So this thing felt like a Bruce Lee action adventure with with Batman, right? First off, everyone who they casted, I actually would have casted for this movie, for they voice casted. That was really cool. All right, I don't know why that was still up. That shouldn't have been up. Anyway, like I said, everyone that was voice casted for this movie, I would have casted in actual real life. Now, before I even go into the plot, let me explain something because I know some people, some comic book people, like, wait, why did they make Richard Dragon Asian? So the trick with Richard Dragon is that uh, when he actually first appeared, I think there was a book or something. Let me see if I can see it. Well, I'll show you an image of what he normally looks like on the screen, and what they did for the movie. So the trick is that there was an original book with Richard Dragon, and in that original book for DC, he actually looked like Bruce Lee, and he was Asian, and so they kind of went with that original look instead of the one where he has the red hair. I think he actually goes by another name too. Yeah, Richard Dragonovsky. So I just had to check that really quick. So Richard Dragonovsky, um, he's got orange kind of hair. We're closer, pretty much light brown, reddish. But yes, he is Richard Dragon, one of DC's best fighters, the whole nine. So in this, it had a very 70s feel. It was definitely the 70s but it kind of had that spy thing, but it also had that, what you call it, like James Bond feel. And you get to see like how they were at the temple, and then there was like a little bit of magic in there, but it was like it worked really well how they blended it. Now the trick is that this part of Richard Dragon's life, it looks like they had him when he was a part of Good. That's an acronym. I don't remember what it's for. I think it's like Global Organized something department. But they kind of had him by that point. They kind of go back in the past and in the future, like to show you a little bit of the backstory, but they did it really well. And it was interesting also to see how Batman was portrayed in this particular film. The voice cast had me sold. When I saw the voice cast, I was like, okay, I'm definitely interested. Mark Dacascos is my favorite like martial artist ever. He's right there with Donnie Yen, and I remember him, and I think it was called, well, at least here it was called Only the Strong, where he did Capoeira, and that was the first time I ever saw Capoeira. And then you start to find out like this dude is just the master. Mark Dacascos is the man. If you don't know who that is, he's the guy that was also in John Wick, Chapter 3. He was the or chapter yeah Parabellum. He was the ninja crew. He's the leader, the sushi chef. That was like, I'm such a big fan. Like he was that guy. I love Mark Dacascos. He also was in the Crow, Stairway to Heaven TV series. Yeah, Mark Dacascos is like awesome, and you should follow him on social media and everything. Kelly Hu, I mean, who doesn't love Kelly Hu? So, oh, and if you're trying to figure out who they are, so Jade Nugent is actually Cheshire. So for you comic book fans, they're like they only know her more by Cheshire. She's the one that married Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, aka Red Arrow, aka Speedy. Uh, if you watch the Arrowverse, that was Arrow's first partner. But in the comic books, they got Roy Harper and her got together and had a child. It's a great story, ended tragically. So this has in his younger years, while training himself to become a vigilante crime fighter, Bruce Wayne travels to Nanda Parbat. Now, if you don't know what Nanda Parbat is, it's the place in the Himalayas. A lot of monks are there. Uh, Deadman actually went to Nanda Parbat when he dealt with some stuff when he became the spiritual agent. Uh, Deadman has returned to Nanda Parbat on occasion to defend it against attackers such as the Sensei of the League of Assassins, an aged warrior at one time possessed by Jonah, another of Rama's former agents. So there's a lot of stuff to Nanda Parbat. It is, I think, if I remember correctly, it was even mentioned in the like Arrowverse. So yeah, Nanda Parbat is a very big deal location. I'm just looking now to see if I can see it here in other media. Justice League Unlimited, yeah, it was when Batman talked about where he studied his martial arts. Arrowverse, like I said, Malcolm Merlin, Nanda Parbat, they did the thing with the League of Assassins being there. So I was right. I just wanted to check that. And I think it was in Gotham too. So it's a pretty big location for martial arts, spirituality, and stuff, and they kind of played it really well here. They meet O Sensei, that's his name, and he has the five other students. He has Shiva, who is Lady Shiva, one of the best martial artists in DC. Sometimes, depending on who's writing, she is the best martial artist in DC. Most times they say Batman is, but Batman uses a lot of tactics. But in straight hand to hand combat, she's supposed to be the best. And she's also my favorite Batgirl, aka Cassandra Cain, Orphan's mother. Richard Dragon, who is a very interesting character. And let me just give you a quick thing. Some people also may know the Richard Dragon or the Dragon from Arrowverse with Ricardo Diaz. Ricardo Diaz. The way he says that stuff. And that's why he was like such a huge villain because even in Arrow, the Green Arrow storyline, he was a big villain. So I was happy that they had him in there and he wasn't just a fly of the season villain. He was like, oh shoot, this guy is a threat and he ain't stopping. And Ricardo was vicious and just a great character villain because he's an awesome villain. And in the comics of the New 52, I don't know now what everything changed, but in the New 52, Richard Dragon was actually a very heroic guy who became like the O Sensei or whatever. And Ricardo beat him and killed him. Spoiler alert if you didn't know this, and took the name of Richard Dragon. And then when he finally revealed himself, he was Ricardo Diaz Jr. That guy talks so cool. Then you have Ben Turner. Now, if you don't know who Ben Turner is, that's the Bronze Tiger. And they also have Rip Jagger. If you don't remember who Rip Jagger is, he's a very old DC character, Judo Master. I'm trying to see if he had an alter ego. Sonia Sato. If you actually want to see something really funny, uh, Judo Master actually dresses a lot. I wanted to see his old costume. He's a Charlton character. Dresses a lot like how Katana did for a while. So I thought that was pretty cool. But it's a big thing where they introduce Soul Breaker, which if you don't know is Soul Breaker, that's Katana's weapon. It's the so if you've seen Suicide Squad or anything like that, birds, read comics, Birds of Prey. Because I think hers ended up being called, if I remember correctly, yeah, the katana is a Muramasa blade. Soul Taker. I was about to say I thought it was Soul Taker. So in there they called it Soul Breaker, and I think they did it to make it more of its own. But it definitely was Soul Taker when I saw it. But there's a reason. There's a story plot behind why I understand why they called it Soul Breaker more. Uh, and they did something different with Judo Master Rip Jagger that I thought was interesting. They twisted a couple things around, but I thought it was cool how they did it. The sword, it talks about like there's a secret place. Why is there there? The movie does show some spirituality in certain gods and certain things, snakes and stuff, because what's his name is Cobra from Serpent Cult, for Jeffrey Burr. They go through the story. Each character is also there for a reason. What I also really liked about this story was that Bruce didn't walk out like, I'm the best thing ever. The one thing he had, and this is a little bit of spoiler territory, he had determination. It was like his determination was second to none. But when it came to skills and things, each one had their own thing, and you'll see it throughout. It was very interesting where people wanted to bring certain things. It kind of had that old Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon feel, but at the same time, it had other stuff. And what else I liked about it was Batman, even though it's called Batman because Batman's, the moneymaker, the movie wasn't really about Batman. It started off with someone and it ended with someone, even though Batman was a part of it. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. And when you go through it, you'll see the situations that happen. You'll see what the spiritual cult is, why Bruce Wayne is Batman in this particular thing, how he does stuff, what it means in this movie to be Batman. But Richard, it kind of centers, so just so you're aware, so you're not like, I went came here to see Batman. It centers more about Richard Dragon. And I was very happy about that because Richard Dragon is a character who doesn't get a lot of like time and attention. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really cool. And I'm gonna hit some spoiler territory now. So because I have to use my tablet, I don't have my old holster thing. So I'm gonna see if I can try to find placeholders um, to do it. I definitely would say this is a. I probably would go with this is a should buy. I'm definitely gonna get it. I really liked it. It touched on everything properly. It was cool to see where the characters were, like Bronze Tiger, to see who they are now, kind of thing, in that time period. Very 70s look, but didn't feel overly 70s. It felt like it was appreciative of the 70s into like the late 70s into the 80s. I really enjoyed the fact that Batman used different tactics and skills and did stuff, but it also really showcased just how dangerous Shiva is. I was weirded out at first when I heard of Jade because I'm like, she's a lot younger, but then I had to like kind of remember this is a different universe kind of movie. So I got to remember that. Like this is not a comic book thing. This is not a take a place on the story. They're not even talking about superheroes like that. It was like specifically the martial arts story. Each one of them was the Osensei students and how they handled it. They had some spiritual stuff in there, but it was really cool how they did it. It did definitely remind me of like an old 70s movie where it's like, oh, we got to stop them. Oh, no, he has a power. Things like that. I thought that was awesome. Their fights, some of the things they had to fight was really interesting. So, like I said, this is a must buy. I'm going to get a couple minutes of spoiler territory. Oh, and I wanted to interject this piece before I get to the spoiler that the ending was crazy. The how Bronze Tiger got his name was awesome. How you saw them do like kind of the spy. It was like a spy kind of thing. Lady Shiva was like an honorable villain, but you see just how vicious and deadly she is. That even Batman kind of took pause, like, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, she is. I'm working up to that. Like, so it was a really cool thing with the students and everything, and it was about togetherness, and it was different, but it was different in a good way. So if you like old Bruce Lee movies, those old 70s kind of movies, the spy movies and stuff like that, I would say this is the movie for you. All right, this was an interjection. Continue. So you can leave now if you don't want the spoilers. Three, two, one, go. So with Richard Dragon, it was awesome because when he's fighting, so they actually did this soul breaker to make it like a key. So it's not just this amazing sword that can cut through rock and is like stoppable. It's also a blade that can open a gateway to another universe or to a thing where Naga. And it was so cool when the Naga species came out and they tried to fight them, and they actually had trouble fighting them. Like they had to really give it their all. And it was interesting that I was wondering what they were going to do with Jade, but in the movie, she actually dies to use the soul to do it, and you have to sacrifice something to close it. So I thought that was crazy. The ending was nuts. Like they ended it on a cliffhanging. We're about to do something, and I'm like, whoa, that's how you're gonna end this movie? Craziness. So yeah, I say definitely check it out. It's a really good film. I personally liked it. It showed Batman much weaker. Like he was getting his behind whooped. The thing is that he's just extremely determined, so you could beat the bricks off of him. Like Bronze Tiger beat them, and Batman just kept getting up, and he just kept getting up. And I was like, "Yep, his determination is I'm gonna keep coming at you." So I thought that was great. Jade, like I wanted to know their stories. Like, how did he go from Bronze Tiger go from being this angry, overly angry guy to this nice, heartfelt dude? And how he got his name was cool because he was like became Serpent Society's like boogeyman. Batman became so they all kind of became their own thing. He became an agent. Batman became the boogeyman of Gotham. This guy became the boogeyman of the whole cult, and it was just a really cool breakdown. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I like that Batman did a lot, but he wasn't the main guy to do everything. Richard, when they were fighting this crazy snake dude, like Richard had to do something. Not Richard, I'm sorry, Bronze Tiger, because Batman is still doing the non-lethal thing. So I thought it was really cool how they did it, but Batman still had his awesome moments, you know? He was still Batman, but he was Batman youth. And how they were doing everything, I just thought it was a really cool setup. And that ending when they were on the other side Batman was like, I thought that was great. And you also saw that Richard Dragon had his power because Richard Dragon's a very special kind of character. So this is the Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Like I said, to me, it's definitely a buy. I hope you enjoyed it, or if you do get to see it, check it out in the comments. But that's it.